Many of you know I'm a huge fan of the Scooby Doo franchise. There's been a whopping total of 12 different animated shows in the franchise from 1969 through to 2016. On a recent revisiting of the entire Scooby Doo compendium, I came across one realization. It seems as though these animated shows didn't last too long before they got scrapped and rebooted. Why is that? It's understandable to modernize a popular franchise to keep the younger audience engaged, but there seems to be a deeper mystery to solve here. As such, I've decided to explore why it is that many of the Scooby-Doo based shows ended so soon, and in some instances, it took a year's worth of gaps in between before rebooting the series. Of course, when it comes to solving a mystery of this caliber, I had to enlist some super sleuthing assistants. Joining me in this analysis will be Norville Rogers, a member of the well-known meddling kids gang known as Mystery Incorporated.
Like, please, man, just call me Shaggy.
You got it, Shaggy. Definitely hoping you'll be able to provide some insight here.
Like, absolutely, man. Like, it started way back in 1969 with Scooby Doo, Where Are You?
Which surprisingly only ran for 2 seasons before being canceled due to poor ratings, wherein Hanna-Barbera decided to take a 2-year hiatus before returning with the new Scooby Doo movies in 1972.
Like, me and Scoob had so much fun in that series, man. Joining forces with the likes of Batman and Robin, the Three Stooges, and even the Harlem Globetrotters.
Apparently, celebrity guest stars weren't enough to keep the show on air, however. It only ran for 2 seasons before being canned yet again. After that run, Hanna-Barbera decided to take their prized dog from CBS to ABC, where the series spent most of the late 70s through to the early 90s. During this time, the show saw many different iterations. Name them, Shaggy.
Like, it was the Scooby Doo Show, Scooby Doo and Scrappy Doo, like the new Scooby and Scrappy Doo Show, the 13 Ghosts of Scooby Doo, and a Pup Named Scooby Doo.
With so many iterations of the franchise only years apart, it's clear as day Scooby-Doo suffered from an identity crisis and some serious growing pains.
Like, it takes a lot when you're going through self-discovery, man.
I realize that, Shaggy, but it seems as though the producers of the show just couldn't make anything they tried stick. I mean, if Vincent Price and Shaggy and Scooby hunting down actual ghosts isn't enough to revitalize the franchise, I don't know what is. There was, however, one iteration that seemed to breathe new life into the franchise. And that was?
A Pup Named Scooby Doo. Like, the entire gang came back and we were kids. It was the first time the series fully embraced the zany cartoon tropes of the time.
It was the first series to break on through to the 4th season before being canceled. But because A Pup Named Scooby Doo was such a revitalizing deviation from the series, breathing new life into the franchise, as the Scooby Doo franchise hit the early 2000s, we started to notice more risks being made as the new iterations came about.
What's new, Scooby Doo? Shaggy and Scooby Doo get a clue. Scooby Doo Mystery Incorporated and Be Cool Scooby Doo. Each of these shows were vastly different in their take of a boy and his bestest pal. And each were met with varying degrees of admiration and hatred.
That's right, Shaggy. In fact, I know quite a few people who hated Shaggy and Scooby-Doo Get a Clue. I mean, it was clear the show was doomed when they chose Scott Menville as the voice of Shaggy.
What do you say, Scoob? Do you think I should go back to being just plain Shaggy?
Scooby-Dooby-Doo!
Ugh. Please, stick to Robin from Teen Titans, Scott. Yeah, rebooting the Scooby-Doo franchise every so often is actually a good thing. It's a time for the producers to hire younger writers with a more interesting take on pop culture, as well as take a new creative visual approach to the source material. For example, I've been reading Scooby Apocalypse and it is visually stunning. And the writing is on par with any other established comic franchise in the same genre. You may also remember that there was an announcement made that Warner Brothers is set to reboot the Scooby-Doo film series in 2018 to set up a cinematic universe where they connect the various Hanna-Barbera intellectual properties. And they sure did with the release of the 2020 film Scoob.
Gentlemen, welcome aboard.
This film has the classic Mystery Inc. crew, along with bringing in some notable Hanna-Barbera characters, like the Blue Falcon, Dino Mutt, Dick Dastardly, Captain Caveman, and many, many more. And with all the other little Easter eggs eagle-eyed viewers such as myself have spotted, such as these kids in the Impossibles costumes, and the Mr. Peebles Pet Shop, the owner of Magilla Gorilla, the Scoob movie is revving up to really establish a full-on Hanna-Barbera cinematic universe. One that, in my opinion, is long overdue. Like it sure is, man. But what are your thoughts on the iconic voice of Shaggy in the film? Well, I wouldn't necessarily call Will Forte's Shaggy voice iconic in any sense of the word. It is unique to say the least.
Congratulations, you're going to be Shaggy in Scooby Doo.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
Give me a Shaggy. What does Shaggy say?
I'm still a work in progress.
Oh, yeah.
It's scary because it's such an iconic voice.
You're gonna kill it.
You know,
What does Shaggy say?
That's a secret. I'm not going to do that for anybody but the directors of that movie.
Okay, I respect that.
Yeah.
You're going to be amazing. Congratulations.
Sure, Matthew Lillard is still with us and would have been an easy choice for the character, but you have to realize this is a new cinematic universe Warner Brothers is trying to establish. So I understand why they decided not to go with the obvious choice. They really wanted to separate this particular project from the animated movies and television shows, and the best way to do that is by choosing another successor to the Shaggy throne. I mean, I'll tell you right now, they could have easily gone with me, but whatever. Wait a minute, man. What about the voice of Scooby-Doo? That voice hasn't changed a bit. Well, you know what, Shaggy, you're right. That's because Frank Welker, the original voice of Fred, picked up the honor of voicing the character back in the 2000s. He worked alongside the legendary Don Messick for years, so he learned all the nuances of doing the character from his longtime friend and co-worker. I think we're all fortunate that the spirit of Scooby-Doo and his iconic voice lives on. And I'll tell you right now, I truly wish the same could be said about the late and great Casey Kasem. But as the times change, so do directions, and the direction they've decided to go with Shaggy is a welcomed one that keeps the Scooby-Doo franchise alive, going strong. With the introduction of the 2020 film and the 2019 animated series Scooby Doo and Guess Who, the franchise will be entertaining children and longtime fans for years to come. And I gotta say, I'm a huge fan of Scooby-Doo and Guess Who, and think it's a great idea that allows for this series to cross over into IRL celebrity territory. And with recent crossovers with the Teen Titans and even Supernatural, the spirit of the Scooby Doo movies lives on. Like not to mention me, Scoob and Daphne met back up with our favorite little scammer, Flim Flam, in Scooby Doo and the Curse of the 13 Ghost. We got to see our old buddy as an adult and finally catch the elusive 13 Ghost. Yes, that's right, Shaggy. It's so interesting how much the entire gang has grown throughout the years, and both these movies, television shows, and crossover specials do a great job of illustrating just how the gang has evolved over the years. I mean, they're one of the few animated cartoons that have grown with their audience. Like, hopefully we'll continue to grow together, man. Dude, that would be dope. I would love that. Well, you already know the spirit of the show lives on in me and my work, Shaggy. The only thing I feel would give Scooby-Doo more cred at this particular point in time would be if they also crossovered into hip-hop media, which is likely to happen merely based on my actions alone. Yes. I made this really cool Scooby-Doo and Guess Who episode pitch where Kendrick Lamar, voiced by me of course, is on an episode and raps about Courage the Cowardly Dog, another long-awaited, long-overdue crossover that we're still waiting to happen. Here, you know what? I want you guys to check it out. It's a very fun song. Have you seen his eyes though? Yeah. Have you seen his eyes though? What the? Have you seen his eyes though? What? Yeah. Have you seen his eyes though? He be coming and coming and coming for you. He be cutting your hair, giving you a new do. You just don't like him, but that's his nephew. You run away, don't miss curfew. He don't care if you know karate, if you part of the Illuminati. He's smart, he know a lot. He be acting naughty. Yeah, if anyone working on the animated show sees this, holla at your boy. Or, you know what, just take my idea and, run with it. No, seriously, hit me up. Like, dude, that was actually pretty good. We should totally do that, man. You know what? That would be awesome, and I would love that, Shaggy, seriously. Anyway, I think that's a good place to wrap up this particular video. What do you all think about the history, the illustrious history of Scooby-Doo and the impact the entire franchise has had on pop culture? What was one of your favorite iterations of the show, or numerous iterations of the show? What was one of your favorite crossovers? And I gotta say, for me, Johnny Bravo. Johnny Bravo. Remember that he was going to see his Aunt Jebedessa? That was amazing. I loved it. Anyways, sound off down below, guys. And, you know, if you'd like for me to do more videos like this, slap a like on it and share it all over the internet. Really helps out a lot, gang. And be sure to subscribe for more content. Until next time, well, I'll see you guys in the next one, folks. Peace.